like he doesn't want to lose to his son, so he literally assembles his generals to help him strategize in this game of Risk. So he's calling in the generals in this emergency meeting at night, and they're like, "What's wrong, Mr. President?" He's like, "I need strategies on how to invade Australia." And they're like, "What are you talking about? Why are we invading Australia?" And then he explains to him at first. Hello and welcome to another edition of Popcorn Bucket List, the show that has way more control over Hollywood than we even realized. More on that later.
Yes.
Stick around for a little bit on that. But let's move right into the opening spotlight. We've got an update in the streaming wars, or as I like to call it, World War Stream. That's right. So we've got a new front runner, as it turns out. We've talked a little bit about this subscribership in certain streaming platforms. We talked a little bit about Netflix, talked a little bit about Disney Plus.
Talking about them all.
Yeah. We're seeing some shakeups here.
It's changing.
So let's take a look just for comparison here. This is based off data from a website known as let's see if I can find it here. Parks Associates, essentially. They're the ones who kind of compile this. They kind of got to dig for it a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
So let's put up the Risk style map here, the world domination for streaming here. 2021, here's what it looked like. The top 6. I chose 6 because there's only 6 players in Risk.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes. ESPN Plus, number 6, HBO Max 4, Hulu coming in at, HBO Max coming in at 5th, Hulu coming in at 4th, Disney Plus at 3, Prime Video 2nd, Netflix obviously number 1.
The king.
That was last year.
Uh-oh.
What happened this year? Let's look at it. And Prime Video has made a move.
Yes,
they have invaded. They've rolled the dice, and the dice was in their favor. Prime Video has taken over based on subscriber numbers. This is
correct.
What we're basing this off of. They have taken over the number 1 spot from Netflix. But that wasn't the only move here. Hulu took over the 3rd spot, knocking down Disney Plus, which I find really ironic because Disney Plus has that bundle with both Hulu and ESPN Plus.
ESPN, yeah.
So how does Hulu still beat Disney Plus?
I don't know. That's a great point because they're part of the same team. That's like saying one of your allies. I don't know. That's No, I get it's hard to explain because it's confusing. How is it beating Disney Plus? I don't know.
We just talked about last couple of weeks ago. There's a new shakeup with the Disney CEO. Part of that was because they were dropping in subscribers. I guess people are choosing the bundle, but are choosing Hulu more.
More, yeah. Or maybe people are just choosing not to get the bundle.
And just choosing Hulu.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And Hulu, if you do that bundle, do you get the Hulu plus live sports combo thing that they have too?
Well, I think that comes in with ESPN Plus, I guess.
That's true.
I don't know.
But do you remember when we first started this show and it was Netflix was it, and then everything else was just kind of, oh yeah, they have a streaming service. They're kind of getting some people.
It was a huge push, and there was everyone started something.
Yes.
Or had some plus streaming, whatever it was called. And then they've slowly been kind of dying out.
Mm-hmm.
Or
morphing.
But
they morph.
Yeah, or they morph, they joined forces, stuff like that. But Netflix was the superpower. Actually, in fact, going back to, I didn't make a graphic for this, but in the last 3 out of the 4 years, Netflix was the number 1. And now finally Prime Video's it's been at 2nd this whole time as well. What's also interesting is looking at this other graphic here. Hulu was actually at 3rd, except for 2021 when Disney Plus took it over, and then now they've reswapped positions. So maybe it's not as crazy that Hulu is 3rd again now that I look at that. But when we were talking about all these streaming services, like you said when we started off this show, I don't think we ever would have guessed Netflix would have at any point faltered.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Especially to, I don't know, maybe I'm not their stereotypical person that they want, But when I think Amazon, I think shopping, I think books. I don't think, oh, Amazon streaming. Like, I don't think that unless I'm watching The Boys, because The Boys is my favorite show on there. But I don't think of Amazon always as a streaming option right away.
And it's funny you bring that up because actually the article that I really first read this about was a Deadline article, and they do kind of point out maybe one of the reasons why Prime Video took over was because not only does it have content like Netflix does, but it has the added bonus of shopping, of deals, of convenience, getting it delivered to you. And the Prime Video thing is just kind of an added bonus to that when you have that account, which really, when you put it in that perspective, what took Prime Video so long to do this?
Like
we're thinking of this like as an upset, but when you put it in that perspective, what have you been doing, Prime? What have you been slacking? Should have been taken over a long time ago.
Yeah, you should have. Free shipping. The rates free shipping, I think, with Amazon Prime.
And a subscription to The Boys.
Yeah. And a subscription to The Boys.
Which is a very gory but good show.
If you have Amazon Prime, please watch The Boys. It's fantastic.
Side note, before we move on, I would like to say... also, one of the big news in the top 10, Peacock actually jumped into the top 10 this year. Actually jumped to 9th, knocking Showtime out of the top 10. Just as a personal note, I think Peacock's my favorite streaming service out of all of them. I think it's the most well-rounded, plus it's like the cheapest. Mm-hmm. It's got movies, it's got TV shows, it's got some live sports.
Okay.
Also because I'm a NASCAR fan, and so they had some of their stuff on Peacock as well. Yeah. So that might be also part of it for me personally. But so I was, you know what? I'm going to make a bet here. I'm not going to say it's going to be in the top 5, but I think Peacock next time this year is going to be moving up. I think a little bit more. I'm calling my shot here on that one.
Then if you're making that guess, I'm going to go ahead and guess that HBO and Showtime are going to keep moving down.
You think they're going to keep moving down?
Yep. I remember when I was younger, HBO was that was it. If you had HBO and Showtime, that was it. Like, you were at the top level.
There was like the network TV, the main thing everyone had. There was cable TV, that was a big thing. But if you had HBO, your family was doing good.
Yes. And then with Showtime getting rid of boxing, which was a huge draw for them, and then just kind of how well all the other streaming services are doing. I still really like HBO, but I could see them because they have HBO Go, HBO Max. Like, they have these. So depending on how they join together or package up, we'll see. But I could see them going down, and especially like
you have to show a united front when you're in World War Stream.
That's right.
When you're at war.
That's right.
United front.
Just like that.
Yep. Nothing stands in your way. But let's move on to the weekly preview, talk about what's coming out this weekend. A little bit of everything, I would say. There's one or two things that caught my eye here. We'll talk about it here in just a second. But the day in question, Friday, November, I want to go back in time, apparently.
Whoa.
I don't know where that came from. I'm reading it right here. I can see it's clearly not November. It's not like I misspelled it. It clearly says December. Friday, December 9th. Empire of Light premieres in theaters. From the guy who brought you one of the best James Bond movies and one of the best war movies ever, brings us a movie about a movie theater.
Yeah.
Sam Mendes. I love his movies, and that may be one of the only reasons why I check this out. But what's going on in this trailer man?
I watched it, and I'm trying to figure out what they're doing, and then is this a hotel or a restaurant?
It's a movie. It's a movie theater.
Okay,
it's like an old timey movie theater in London.
And then it's like they redid it because I remember they walked into like an abandoned theater in the trailer, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, is that racial tension that's going on that just kind of popped in there?
Yeah,
and then it's like, okay.
Yeah, I really don't know what else.
Very inspirational, emotional.
I don't want to leave it on such a cliffhanger here, but I really don't know what to say about this one. I mean, I like movie theaters, so I guess that's a plus.
Yeah.
I don't really know what to go off of here. Yeah. The guy who made it has made really good stuff before.
They said like 3 times in the this is her best performance in years. Her performance is powerful. They did a great job in their acting. Like, they said it like 3 times in the trailer. Like, okay,
Which
they
is a
acted
little
great.
suspicious.
Yeah.
If I have to tell you I didn't murder a person, and you're like, I believe you. I'm like, yeah, no, I swear to God, I didn't murder the person. I'm like, well, I believed you the first time, and then I said like a third time, I promise you, I didn't murder them.
Then I'm getting suspicious.
You should start wondering.
Yeah.
Did I think Nick murdered someone.
I think Nick did it.
But let's move on to the next movie here. Spoiler alert, also coming to theaters, starring Jim Parsons and directed by the director of The Big Sick, which I think makes sense because this seems like a similar story to The Big Sick, and I really enjoyed The Big Sick. I was a little confused by the title of the movie until I did a little bit more research, and the movie is actually based off a memoir that the full title of it is, spoiler alert, The Hero Dies. So maybe don't go into this movie if you need a cheery pick-me-up, potentially. Just forewarning you there. That being said, it is a true rom-com, I would say. Relationship.
With some heavy tones.
Relationship, funny times, dark times, through better than worse, all that stuff.
Yep.
But there are a few funny moments, I thought. The Smurf scene was kind of funny.
Smurf scene was funny. And there's a scene towards the end where he's like, I'm so happy you invited us. And he's like, oh, I didn't want you here.
Yeah.
I was vehemently against it. And then she slaps him. It's like, okay,
because it's Sally Field, and you don't say that to Sally Field.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad to see Jim Parsons in different roles. Obviously, we knew him as Sheldon for the longest time.
Yep.
Even when he broke out of that and went into movies, it was like in Hidden Figures where he was still a smart brainiac kind of thing. Sure, he was kind of a jerk brainiac more than he is as
more
Sheldon.
than a jerk.
But I'm glad to see him kind of branch out into this movie, and I think I like to see that. I like to see when actors. I love seeing Kaylee Cuoco, what she's been doing after Big Bang Theory, and I like seeing them all branch out and everything. So
let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Marshall Update. As you know, we had the R&R combo, which was the large drink and the Reese's. Now we're changing it up. Just for a limited time only, you're getting a large drink and a large popcorn. It could be Coke, Diet Coke, Cherry Coke, Dr. Pepper, Mellow Yellow, Sprite. We got it all. This is the perfect time for you, maybe your friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, family, whatever, to get a large drink and a large popcorn. And with that, we'll see you at the movies.
Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Also coming out that same weekend, we've talked about this movie before, The Whale, also coming to some theaters. Like I said, we've already kind of given our thoughts on this trailer. It's a really short trailer, so I don't really know much more we have to say about that. I am hoping this movie does well, so that way Warner Brothers releases Batgirl. I'm still not over that. Are you kidding me? Like, I find it so ironic. The end of this trailer literally has Brendan Fraser being like, let me see, I got the quote here. People are amazing. And I'm just sitting here like, you realize your other movie got canned because of petty disagreements and greed, right? Like, that's not people being amazing. That's people being mean.
That's Brandon Fraser being a fantastic actor.
Yeah, he truly believed that. I truly believe he believed. But in the back, there's pain in those eyes, man. He knew this was when I was going to start, and then he was going to break into a comic book movie, and he was going to be back.
Yep.
And they screwed him.
I am so excited for this movie. I've seen some people or listened to some people that have seen this at some festivals and absolutely loved it. And I'm super excited to see it. I can't wait. I might have to drive to see this, but I think I would just because it's Brandon Fraser.
If the more box office it gets, it does end up releasing Batgirl, I'll drive to every theater I can and pay.
Buy the theater out.
I'll buy 3 tickets just for me.
There you go.
Just to get the box office. If Warner Brothers, if you're listening out there, and maybe you are, if this is what gets Batgirl released again, I'll buy 3 tickets just for myself.
Yep.
I'll do it. I promise. I cross my heart. Get Batgirl released, man. I want to see that movie. Just saying. Also coming out that same weekend, Christmas, Bloody Christmas. This one's mainly coming out to Shudder. So you know it's It's not going to be a cheery holiday here this time. Second week in a row where we're talking about a Santa Claus killing people movie. This one, it's an Android AI robot that malfunctions. But I was thinking this to myself, what's up with all the Santa Clauses killing people recently? Then I realized we made a Santa Claus killing people movie, and we made him a demon. And with his own body count. So I guess what I'm actually saying is we inspired a new trend in Hollywood, and I will take that to my grave. You're welcome, Hollywood. That's right.
They must have seen our film in the ethos and just thought we should do something like that. Mm-hmm. And that's what they did.
Yeah. But they had to change it a little bit. They couldn't make him a demon because then we'd sue them and probably win.
Yeah. When they in the trailer for this, when he had the lasers coming out of his eyes, for some reason it reminded me of Terminator. Like Terminator just popped in my head. It's like, oh, it's Terminator, but he's dressed like Santa Claus.
Yeah.
So
it's basically if you took Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator and took Arnold Schwarzenegger's Jingle All the Way and combined them.
Great mashup. That's
right
perfect.
There.
That's it.
Simpatico. And Santa Claus is coming to town.
Yes, he is.
And you won't be leaving town. That's you can take that for the poster as well.
Whoa.
But also coming out that same weekend, we're gonna take some serious territory here now. I kind of wish I had made jokes on that last note because it's hard to segue into our next thing here. Emancipation, an Apple TV Plus movie. Will Smith is back, and he is a slave on the run during the time of the Civil War. Like I said, there's really no segue between Santa Claus robot killing people to true story of man who broke out and ran and to freedom and all that. I get the sense, do you think Will Smith got annoyed at himself for turning down Django Unchained? And then he was like, I'm going to do my own version of that, but I'm going to do a serious version of that and not action Tarantino.
And very artsy.
Yeah, very artsy.
It almost, you're right, it does give me Django vibes. However, it is more like, I would say, grounded in reality and very artsy. I mean, it's all in black and white.
It's all in black and white, but there's a few shots where, like, if you're looking at the fields, you can see the green. Of it. And I almost want. I'm wondering if this is like a Schindler's List kind of thing. Because remember in Schindler's List, it was like all black and white except for the little girl red coat was colorized. So I'm wondering if that
maybe like it's like a freedom thing, like when they're in the north or when everything's kind of.
I'm curious because it is mostly in black and white, but I did notice there's just a few of those moments where some of the green plant life is colorized. Yeah. So I'm curious what the story is behind that. But you say it's grounded in reality. That's true. It is based off a true story of a real life person who was separated from his family, escaped slavery, was on the run, tried to reunite with his family, and all while this is going on, at one point is fighting in the Civil War, one of the bloodiest conflicts in American history.
Yep.
So it's, I mean, and knowing how this works is probably all happened in a month or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I look back at what I did in this last month, and I'm like, well, I haven't really accomplished anything.
Shot a lot of hockey.
Yeah.
Shot a lot of hockey.
But I got like dishes that need to be done that I just don't get to, you know.
Yep.
This really kind of puts my life into perspective. Anyways, any other thoughts on this movie? Like we also kind of gave our thoughts on the whole Will Smith,
with the
what we think of Will Smith last week's too.
Yeah.
But just looking at this movie, looks pretty good.
I did have a different perspective watching the trailer after hearing him talk about, don't not see this because of me. There's a lot of people that worked hard and did all this. Don't make them suffer because of me and stuff. And watching it made now I'm curious as to when they filmed this.
I think it was filmed before the Oscars.
I'm thinking so too. But, and also Ben Foster in there.
Yeah.
I really like Ben Foster. Don't necessarily always like the characters he's playing, but I really like him as an actor.
We're not cheering for Ben Foster's character in this movie, but we're cheering for Ben Foster, the person.
Yes, not his character, his person.
Here's a scenario I throw at you. What if he gets nominated for this again?
Will Smith?
Yeah, for Best Actor.
Isn't he banned, though?
That's what I'm saying is, like, how awkward
Have him zoom in.
How awkward is that, though?
Have him zoom in.
What if What if he's one of the few people to go back-to-back winning an Oscar and he's not there to accept it that second time?
Violence is never the answer.
I mean, that's true.
I think
that was deep, man.
Thank you. I think if he does get nominated, even if he gets nominated, it's going to be huge. And he can't be there because how many times have they gone back-to-back to the same person? Has that ever happened?
Sally Field did it, maybe?
Okay.
Didn't she?
It
was pretty. She won two pretty close to each other, I think. I can't remember if it was back-to-back.
Because it would be unheard of that happens, and then you're not even there to do it.
But that's what I'm saying is, like, what if this is the first time this ever happens in history and he's not there to accept it?
Then
it's possible.
It
looks like he's given
possible.
a groundbreaking performance, and I'm not hearing a lot of talk of other actors and everything.
Yeah.
We're running out of time here. We're in December.
Usually right now, they already know pretty much what films are going to be chosen.
Yeah.
We already know, oh, look at this person, this film, this could be a front runner. And
I feel like I haven't heard as much.
I'm in the same boat. I haven't either.
Anyway, that's just scenario. Thought I'd throw it out there. I think it'd be interesting.
Once the list comes out, we can debate it further.
Yeah, good point. But finally coming out this weekend, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. This is coming straight to Netflix. It's the story of Pinocchio, but it's handmade stop-motion animation. Every movement you see, every second of film is put together by hand with motion and everything. I could demonstrate it here with my transformers here. Just give me a second. Okay, so like, all right, that's a frame. Okay, and then he's got to move. That's a frame. And okay, that's a frame. Like that's the whole.
Yep.
That's the whole thing.
And it's thousands upon thousands upon thousands.
It's a feature film, man.
Yeah,
they're doing this.
It's gonna be. But looking at it, it looks absolutely beautiful.
It looks breathtaking.
It does.
I mean, there's no way you could tell me this was stop motion animation. Like, if I hadn't already seen behind the scenes videos and clips of this, I wouldn't believe it.
Yeah,
I'd say they're lying to me.
Yep. And it's the cast that's in here is just amazing. I remember when I heard Christoph Waltz's voice in the trailer, I was like, "Go! I gotta watch this. I gotta see this."
Yeah, having seen the live action remake with Tom Hanks earlier this year and hating it, to put it lightly, I really want this one to be good.
I do too.
And I think just by the trailer, maybe they're changing up the story a little bit, which I'm happy for, because that was my main problem with the first one this live action remake is they're just doing the same story. But let's be honest, certain elements of that story doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Especially with this new version.
And a lot of Pinocchio, the like old and like the original Pinocchio, when he does these bad things, it's because he made choices to get him in bad situations. Not, oh, he's in the wrong place at the wrong time and something else caused it's like, no, he needs to learn that his choices impact his future. And like I think that kind of got missed a little bit in the Tom Hanks one. It was, oh, he's in the wrong place. Oh, that's the thing. It's not his fault. It's like, no, it needs to be his fault so he can learn from it, so he can get better.
Yeah. You want to blame if you want to blame Pinocchio for going with strangers off to a show, like, sure, you can try and make that argument. I could make the argument that the dude is 2 days old and Geppetto sent him off to school after knowing him less than 24 hours.
Yep.
That's more on Geppetto. Like, yeah, I want a son. Yeah, I got a son. Go to school, son.
Get out of here.
Get out of the house.
I need some time.
I need some alone time.
Yeah.
Like, it's just messed up. Anyways, so that's everything coming out this weekend. Let's talk about some stuff we saw in weeks past. It's time for number one recommends. I'm going to let you go first because I forgot what you said you were going to recommend, and what you recommend is going to determine what I recommend, because I know we're thinking of the same two movies, but I don't know which one of us is recommending it.
Yep.
So I'm going to let you go first.
All right. I'm going to go with Violent Night. Watched this the other day. Absolutely a fantastic sleigh ride of a time. We watched it, and I don't think we stopped laughing throughout the entire thing. The jokes are on point. Some of the throwbacks to Santa Claus, and like if you like look up like the true history or the like where did Santa Claus originate and come from, they have some things in there. The acting's pretty good. But I would say David Harbour's comedic vocalizing as Santa Claus and his like timing with his weapons and just his mannerisms are really funny. And I just had a joy watching this. And so one of the best things I loved was they kept addressing Christmas magic, and now they had no idea what it was. It's like, oh, it's Christmas magic. I don't know how it works. And it was awesome. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was well done. Bloody, but not over the, well, it was pretty over the top bloody, but it wasn't like Quentin Tarantino over the top bloody, but it was good. It was good.
I'm going to be recommending The Menu. This movie is bonkers, 100%, but it's my kind of bonkers, man. I was so sucked into the story. Now, you can say the story is crazy and sometimes doesn't. It really is kind of all over the place, but it kind of ties together at the end. But the thing that really drew me in was the performances, specifically by Anna Taylor-Joy and Ralph Fiennes. There is a scene in here specifically, I like to call it the vacuum scene, in that it sucks me in, literally sucks me in. And I was on board 100% from that moment on, because these two, I can make an argument for everyone in all the cast in this movie, but those two specifically were killing it in this movie, and we're just going all in. If you like food, it is kind of a foodie movie. It does show cooking, and I'll say I left the theater hungry. I'll give it that. Thankfully, I had some
s'mores, maybe.
Yeah, a little bit actually, right. Which is kind of messed up when you consider the context. But yeah, overall, it's a crazy fun ride. But I enjoyed the ride. But that's going to do it for us here on this episode of Popcorn Bucket List. As usual, if you have any of your own movie recommendations, let us know in person if you run into us, or in the comments down in the YouTube video below. For myself and Ryan Meyerberg, we'd like to thank you so much for watching, and we will see you at the movies.